Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at an article. Well, it's an opinion piece from the Washington Examiner. Now, this is by Paul Bedard. Now, this is published on November 27th. Look at the title here. Historically Strange. Spike in incomplete Nevada voter files. Casinos as homes. Yeah. People were using casinos and RV parks like that the old retirees take their home on, home away from home, their home on wheels. And park them in Nevada when they go to the casinos and stuff, and then they camp out there in their RVs. Yeah, they used RV parks and casinos as addresses, and we're supposed to accept the results of Nevada. Yeah, seriously. I mean, this is some seriously ridiculous shit, and we're just supposed to accept it. An analysis of Nevada votes has uncovered an unprecedented jump in problem voter registrations, likely providing the Trump campaign with another avenue to challenge Joe Biden's victory in the critical state. In an affidavit filed in another Republican election challenge, a data scientist, which I don't know why they're putting that in quotes, is he a data scientist or not? Yes or no? Found a huge surge of incomplete voter registrations and those giving casinos and temporary RV parks as their home or mailing addresses in the 3rd Congressional District that covers the southern third of the state and much of Clark County. How convenient. Clark County. I'm assuming Las Vegas, one of those problem areas they had with this whole voting thing and these key areas where they were stuffing the ballot boxes and that. The expert, Dorothy Morgan. So you're saying she's an expert here, but you're putting data scientists in quotes here. Which is it? You're saying she's an expert. Well, then you don't need to put it in quotes. The expert, Dorothy Morgan, said that in her initial study of the records of those who voted, there's an historically strange jump in voter registrations missing the sex and age of the voter, making confirmation by poll workers impossible. How convenient. So these people don't know their sex, they don't know their age or anything like that, but yet they got a freaking ballot. Excuse me? I mean, number of 2020 voters in Nevada, I'm assuming CD3 is just something District 3, whose voter registration lists invalid birth dates, birthday 0, birth month 0, and unknown sex U by the year of registration. 1 in 2008, no in 2009, 1 in 2010, 1 in 11, 0 in 12, 1 in 13, 1 in 14, 3 in 15, 68 in 2016. Because they were like, let's see if we can get away with this. Oh, they slipped through. 2017, you get 28 of them, not really an election year. 2018, 156 of them. And then they went, hey, we really got to get creepy, sleepy Uncle Joe over the top. And they went all out on this one. 13,372 of them. Isn't that like the difference between Trump and Biden? Within that difference would actually flip it for Trump in Nevada? I think it's that close at this point. I could be wrong. But it's really close to the point of flipping it from Biden to Trump. You go and dig a little deeper, I don't think it's going to be that hard to finish the flip. She found that in the last presidential election, there were 68 voter registrations missing the critical data. In 2020, it was 13,372. What's more, 74% of the incomplete registrations took place between July and September of this year. Oh yeah, how convenient when they're freaking out and they're going, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. He's going to have a massive turnout. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. Oh God, evil man, evil orange man, bad orange man, orange man, orange man, orange man, bad orange man. He's going to have a lot of people. Oh no, evil Trump people, evil white supremacists. Oh no. And they freaked out because they were pushing that narrative and they went, okay, yeah. So you had people that were freaking out. They were taking extra ballots. And then you also had the fact of them just looking like the Democrats and that in the state and on from the national party. Looking at doing the same thing there. It was just a major clusterfuck of all of it. At least they got a little more creative. It wasn't like with Chicago and stealing the election from Nixon with Kennedy. They just went to the cemeteries. Used the cemeteries as the addresses for the dead people. their plot numbers as like their apartment numbers. So yeah, at least they were a little more creative and went, oh, we'll use RV parks and casinos. Whoa, our people like to have fun. Woohoo. But seriously, I mean, they had to, I mean, how the hell did no one not catch this? You get all these ballots being sent to these temporary RV parks, okay? The owners of the RV parks, or the people managing them, didn't notice that all the, or think it was a little suspicious that all these ballots were just showing up. The people in the casinos, all right, didn't think anything was suspicious. No one in the mailroom thought this was a little bit wacky, that you get all these ballots showing up for people that are claiming to live there. No one thought about this? Seriously? No one? This didn't raise any suspicion with anyone? In her 2-page affidavit provided to Secrets, Morgan wrote, this investigation found over 13,000 voters whose voter registration information reveals no sex or date of birth. Not only does this mean we cannot verify whether these voters are old enough to vote, it's also historically strange. You think? While one does not expect voter registration information to be perfect, it is very strange that there were very, very few of these kinds of imperfect records with missing or invalid information until this year. Then there are 13,372 of them. Yeah, just real convenient when they're trying to take the state of Nevada because they know Trump is going to win it. Real friggin' convenient. Several addresses were odd too, she wrote. I have also identified dozens of voters who listed their home or mailing address as a temporary RV park and casino, she wrote. In a Thanksgiving Day interview from her Texas home, Morgan said, it's weird. So what I found was that there are just a lot of people who have 0 birthdays, 0 birth month, and an unknown sex, and then an unknown sex. Oh, excuse me. Not only that, they live at temporary RV parks, and casinos. And no one thought this was like a little bit strange? Then she said, after checking past history with 2020, what I saw is that you have a handful of people, and then all of a sudden you have 13,000 people making that error in 2020. And that's not right. Well, clearly not. They were trying to stuff the ballots in as fast as they could, and it was like the idea of the movie Gung Ho at the end, when Michael Keaton and the guy, the Japanese auto company guys, auto exec guys, and the American auto workers are working together trying to make their quota to get the raises and get more people working at the factory. Okay. Michael Keaton, how did he put it exactly? He was basically like, yeah, we're going to have to just cut a few corners on some things. Like, lug nuts, bumpers, just like engines, transmissions. Like he's kind of saying that under his breath, and I don't remember exactly what he says, but the gist of it was, we're going to cut corners. And he was saying about leaving parts off that you kind of need for the car to actually be a complete car. This is the same exact principle with what they did here. Because they were stuffing the ballot boxes so fast, they couldn't come up with sex and date of birth and all that fast enough. I guess the people weren't creative enough to go, okay, this guy was born this day, this one was born this day, she was born this day. They couldn't even figure out he, she, or anything like that. I mean, this is some serious shit. But no, nothing to see here. Her affidavit was filed on behalf of Dan Rodmer, who lost his election to Rep. Susie Lee in Nevada's 3rd Congressional District. He lost by 13,000 votes. A judge this week dismissed Rodmer's case, deciding that the court didn't have jurisdiction to handle it. Well, of course, because no court wants to touch this, because no court wants to be involved with this. If they're going to look for any friggin' excuse to stay away from this, because either they're fine with the system being corrupt, or they don't want to make waves. The Trump campaign has found multiple examples of problem ballots and voting that has been granted a December 3rd hearing to present some evidence and 15 depositions. In her affidavit, which has been forwarded to Trump's team, Morgan said that her findings were just scratching the surface. Well, of course they were. If the manpower was there to actually dig into this, there would be rampant fraud exposed. But we're supposed to believe this is a legitimate election, when she just proved enough that could swing the state quite substantially in Trump's favor, or towards Trump at least, to where it's really tiny, tiny, minuscule difference. And then you go and dig a little bit deeper, and it's swung on the way to favor. It's swung in the favor of Trump. Oh, excuse me. Anyway, based on the results I have found in the limited time I have had to analyze this data set, I expect to find additional oddities in the election data as I conduct further analysis, she wrote. Yeah. I mean, seriously, that's some messed up stuff going on here, but we're just supposed to accept the results. And it's funny, is they're like, oh, there's no evidence. Giuliani goes to Gettysburg, okay, with all these people who have signed sworn affidavits, give testimony to the members of the Pennsylvania legislature, the Republican members, because the Democrats didn't want anything to do with it. Then it was, oh, well, your evidence isn't good enough. Like, even if there was, even if there was fraud, it still didn't it didn't affect the election. Just accept defeat. These people. Even when they have this in there that, oh, well, you just got to accept Joe, even though you've proven that there's been really shady shit. You're just going to have to accept him. So come on now. That's not how it works. And it looks like the Pennsylvania legislature is telling the governor and the Secretary of State to piss off. They're going to appoint the electors, which is their right under the Constitution. So I don't know how well that's going to go. We might actually see two sets of electors go to vote. And it's going to be an interesting situation. Anyway, I've covered this well enough. I'm leaving things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.